What's up, fuckers? It's Elle. So today I am making a video that absolutely no one asked for. I'm just making this because I'm in fucking quarantine like everyone else in the world right now. I have nothing else to do, and it actually is something that I've thought about doing before, but I just never had the time. But now I do that I'm in quarantine. And as you can see from the title, I am doing a shoe collection video. And this means that I'm showing you every single one of my shoes. Shoes, I feel, especially when you're alternative, are really, really important. I personally feel like it can really make or break an outfit. It can pull an outfit together. It can, really be a showstopper. It can sometimes be the statement piece within your outfit. And so, being that I feel that way, I thought that y'all might find it interesting to see all of the shoes I own, whether they're alternative or not. I own 27 pairs currently, which I know sounds like a high number, but to me practically it's not, because, some of the shoes are very special occasion shoes, and I don't know, I feel like I can always have room for more shoes. But I've separated all of the shoes that I own into categories. So I have flats, which I'm going to be doing first. And the way I define flats is just literally any shoe that has no platform or very little platform, something under 1 inch. And then I'm going to be doing heels, which are, actual high heels. They may or may not have a platform. And then the final category I have is, of course, platforms, which are usually my favorite. They're kind of the staple of alternative footwear. And I don't know, it's just the part of my collection I really enjoy the most. So I'll have the timestamps here for each of those if you just want to see a certain section and not the whole video. So without having to make you wait any longer, let's go ahead and start showing you all of my 27 pairs of shoes. And the first pair of shoes I'm going to show you guys are actually these here. I got these from Walmart, and the reason I got them is because I went on a trip to Florida and I actually owned no sandals at the time, and I needed some, assuming I was going on the beach, and so that's why I bought these. They were very cheap. I don't remember the exact price. I want to say they were like no more than $8. But they're pretty good. I think I've only worn them like once or twice. I definitely wore them while I was in Florida and stuff, but since then I haven't really worn them because, as you can imagine, sandals aren't particularly my thing as an alternative person. But they are pretty comfy. The second pair of flats I have are very tried and true, and you will be able to see that they have been heavily loved by me. It is this pair of studded black flats. They are kind of like this, I don't know, it's not suede, but it's like that kind of soft velvety material. I got these from a place I used to work at. I worked at a thrift store called Connections for Life here in Baton Rouge. If you ever are in Baton Rouge, I definitely recommend you checking them out because they're wonderful. Throughout all of the wearing of them that I've done, they have become kind of loose, especially around the sides of my foot. But they are comfortable and they get me where I need to go, and if I need to just wear simple black flats, these are the ones I wear. The next pair of shoes I have are also thrifted, but from a different thrift store. These are from Here Today Gone Tomorrow, also here in Baton Rouge, and they are these kind of retro looking black flats that are shiny, and then they have this cute little red bow towards the toe. I haven't worn these very much. I think I've worn them maybe 3 times, but honestly the reason why I don't wear them that much is because they are not particularly comfortable. In the back they tend to scrape and chafe my heel, even if I'm wearing socks. So even though they are very adorable and kind of, give me gothabilly vibes, it's kind of hard for me to wear them, but I still do enjoy them, and they were super cheap. Very cute design, not super comfortable wearability. The next pair of shoes I have, I feel like most people in America have probably owned a pair of these at some point in their life. It's these black, like, slipper-like tennis shoes that you get from Walmart. They're legit like $5. They're pretty comfortable, but they have no support at all. So, like, you wouldn't want to wear these to work, but if you need to do, like, stuff around your house, stuff outside of your house, like yard work, you can wear these. I don't wear these very many places if I'm, like, looking good and done up. But if I just need to, like, run to the store, these are usually what I'll wear and stuff. But they also don't last very long, as I'm sure anyone who's owned these can attest. I can already tell that these ones that I've owned, not even, I want to say, for a full year, they're already starting to kind of fall apart towards the back. And so they're not good quality, but I mean, you also paid $5 for them from Walmart, so you don't get these kinds of shoes because they're good quality. So the next pair of shoes I have look kind of similar in appearance, but they're very different in quality. It's these kind of black leather, fake leather sneakers I have. I got these from justfab.com, I believe. These are actually from my early days of when I started dressing alternative, and I really wanted some like leather, or at least leather looking sneakers, and so these were cheap and I bought these. Now I barely ever wear these with my outfits. They're kind of like the previous shoes I just showed you. If I need to go to the store or something, these are what I'll wear sometimes. But they are very good quality. Like, considering how long I've had them now, I've had them since I was probably 20, so almost 3 years. And they've withstood all of that, and they're not coming apart too much. So I would still recommend these shoes if you do like them. The next pair of shoes I have are essentially just white fabric versions of the previous ones, and they are from Shoe Dazzle. But I got these because I was like, oh, I own black shoes that kind of look a certain way. I guess I can get white ones that way too, thinking that I would wear white shoes often. Because I do like white and black as a combination, but I actually haven't worn these very much. That's why they're still pretty white, besides the toes, they're still pretty white. One thing I don't like about these shoes that I didn't notice whenever I bought them online is that, so I can't remember what these things are called, but these little like eyelets, rivets, whatever they're called, they are actually gold and not silver. And on the website they looked kind of more silver in appearance, and that made me happier because I personally prefer silver over gold. Then they got here and I was like, oh shit, those are gold. Because I don't wear very much gold jewelry or accessories or anything. So I feel like that's another reason why I haven't worn these as much. But they are still very good quality shoes, and I do enjoy them. It's just I don't have many occasions to wear them. So the next pair of shoes I have are actually hand-me-downs from my mom, and which is why they're kind of in bad condition. But it is these memory foam Skechers. These are actually the shoes I wear when I go hiking or to nature trails, which is why they also have mud all over them. But they are super comfortable, even though, you know, they aren't super aesthetically pleasing anymore. This memory foam is like super strong, and it has barely gone down since I've owned them. And I also went to Tunica in these, and so they got soaking wet for part of the trail, and I had to wash them and stuff, but they still are in good shape, so these are definitely some good quality shoes considering all they've been through with me. So this next pair of shoes is also from my early days of dressing alternative, and it is these kind of fake leather, again, quilted, I wouldn't say above the ankle boots, because they're not quite like ankle booties, but they are flat, and I got them again from Connections for Life, the thrift store where I used to work. But these are really nice, I find, even when I got them, they were starting to fall apart a lot in the back. And as you can see, this heel is starting to kind of come up a little bit, so they're definitely worn and well loved, even by the person who owned these before me. But they're pretty cute, and I wear them sometimes with certain outfits if, you know, it's a more casual setting and I don't want to be like super gothed out or super alternative looking. These are nice shoes to have. And so my final pair of shoes for the flats category is also actually my newest pair for this category. It is these black boots, and I know they have a little bit of heel, but to me this isn't like significant enough to warrant calling it a heel or a platform. To me these are basically still flats. But I actually got these while I was in Midland, Texas, when I went there with my partner to see our mutual best friend. And unfortunately on that trip I forgot all of my shoes. I forgot to pack shoes. And so we went to the mall and I got some shoes that I thought I could kind of pass as alternative, and it was these. They're very comfortable. They're actually a little small on me, but thankfully they don't like cut off my toe circulation or anything. But overall I do like these shoes. I got them, I think it was at Ross Dress for Less. Alright, so the next category of shoes that I'm going to be showing you guys, as I mentioned, are my high-heeled shoes. I don't own a ton of high heels, I would say. I actually wish I owned more because I do want to get into wearing them more places. But unfortunately, heels just aren't super practical to go certain places in, which is why I don't own as many and why I don't wear them as much. But the first pair of shoes that I'm going to be showing you are actually probably, if I'm not, yeah, these are actually my oldest heels that I've ever owned, and they are from my high school graduation, which for me, it was 5 years ago. They are these very strappy black heels. They have a very small platform in the front. The heel measures about 4.5 inches. Overall, these are pretty good shoes, I would say. I liked them a lot more when I initially bought them. They were quite nice, but now the tread on the bottom of the shoe towards the front has become so old and so worn away that it makes it very hard to wear them now. It kind of is slippery whenever I walk in these heels, which you never want to have in heels. I want to say I've also worn them to a few funerals and like fancy events and stuff, which is why they're so worn, but I do like these heels overall. The next pair of heels I have are actually high-heeled booties, and they are these right here, these beautiful sequined ankle boots. I got these as well from the place I used to work, Connections for Life. The heel on these is 4.5 inches, and I believe there is a small platform in the front. I can't really tell because, you know, it's a boot and it's completely covered by the fabric. But whenever I have worn these boots out, they actually are very comfortable to walk in overall, as long as you're not standing still for long periods of time. But I really do love these shoes. I think they're so pretty. If you know me, you know that I love anything sparkly and I love anything black. So these are right up my alley, and I really like these shoes. So the next pair of heels I have are actually not high heels at all. They are these little short booties. They don't have any platform in the front, but you really don't need one because, you know, this heel height is so short. But if you're new to high heels, maybe that's good for you. They do have these cute little studs on the side that shows outward from your foot, which I think is nice. And I wouldn't say these look alternative per se, but they can pass as, you know, kind of edgy looking if you're in a certain environment where you can't look super alternative, which is why I bought these. And they are pretty comfortable to walk in. They are noisy though, surprisingly, despite being such a short heel. But overall, I do like these little boots. I got these from Connections for Life as well. So the next pair of heels I have are actually not high either, but they are very long and lank. They are these long thigh-high boots, and yes, they do actually legitimately reach my thighs, believe it or not, even though I'm pretty tall. They do have a zipper enclosure on the middle inner part as well, and the top has this slightly elastic material to kind of help it keep it up on your thigh. It doesn't always necessarily work. I've worn these to Christmas 2 years in a row, I want to say, with my family. And they are quite comfortable to walk in, and I do enjoy them a lot. But again, the only thing that I don't like about them, and you can see this is a really recurring theme for me, is the metallic detail. The lining on the heel is gold. And again, I'm not a big fan of gold. I desperately wish it was silver. I would adore these if it was silver, and I would probably wear them a lot more if it was. But, you know, I still do like them overall, and I wear them occasionally. My next pair of high heels are also, again, from Connections for Life. It is these, I don't even know what, I guess this is kind of like a suede material. And then it has this very pretty clear plastic heel at the back. And I saw these and I was like, wow. I don't know what it is about those, but I love those, and they remind me of me, and so I knew I had to get them. But I actually wore these heels to my lavender graduation when I was still in college. And I must say though, in terms of like comfort, I don't know if it's because I bought these secondhand or if it's the design of the shoes, but towards the front, there's an odd like dip where, you know, the balls of your feet sit towards the front, and it's almost as if your feet are like really concaved in towards the front. And so, you know, at the lavender graduation I went to, I had to stand for long periods of time again because it was a graduation ceremony. And so the balls of my feet were hurting so bad, and they were so sore by the end of the night. I mean, it was still worth it because, you know, to me, beauty is pain. It doesn't bother me. But that's just to say, if you ever would want to get these shoes, keep that in mind. So this next pair of shoes, can you guess? It's another pair from Connections for Life. I really bought a lot of things from there while I worked there. But it is these kind of they look almost like black high-heeled Timberlands in a way. But they have this kind of suede material again, and they are pretty beaten up, being that I did get them secondhand. But nonetheless, I do still quite like them. The heel is quite high. Your foot itself is only having about a 4.5-inch incline. But nonetheless, I find these relatively easy to walk in because the platform is so high. I actually do really like how the shoelaces that came with these are black and white. I don't know, I just, like I mentioned before, I really like black and white as a combination. One thing I don't like about these shoes though is that the inside, like the tongue and the lining that you can see, is this kind of beige orangey color, which reminds me of Timberlands with the pattern and everything. But I don't really like that. I would prefer if it would be black or even white, just because I feel like it can clash with whatever I'm wearing. But overall, I do like these shoes. So this next pair of heels, I actually don't know how much they cost or where they came from because they're just hand-me-downs from my partner. But they are these simple black lace-up heels. They're pretty cute. I don't know what this material is. It's kind of soft, but it's not, I wouldn't call it suede. But I like these heels quite a bit overall. They're actually a bit big on me. I can still wear them, like they're not too big to where I can't get around in them. The heel is very loud for some reason. I don't know why it clacks so loudly, but because the heel is so thick, it makes it pretty easy to walk in it. And there is a small platform in the front, but overall these are pretty easy to walk in, and I think it's a nice little winter boot. It can look kind of alt if you want it to be, or it can look very casual and normie depending on how you accessorize and wear it. So I think these are pretty convenient shoes. Alright, so these final 3 pairs of high heels are all from alternative footwear brands. So they are really some of my favorite high heels that I currently own. And this first pair is actually from YRU, which if you know me, you know that YRU is one of my favorite alternative footwear brands. So if you just look at these heels from the side, you know, they look pretty normal. You know, they're very pretty stilettos that have this genuine suede material. But then you look from the front and you see that they have the word fuck printed on them. And when I saw these, I was like, oh my god, because I actually bought these while YRU was having a 50% off sale on all of their sale items. So these were regular price, I want to say $40, but because everything was half off, I got them for $20, which to me was a steal to get these. Like, to get any YRU brand shoes for $20 is a steal, but especially heels, and I haven't worn them out yet, but I will. And you might be asking me, well, where the fuck would you wear these? And my answer is to Walmart, to the bathroom, like to a doctor's appointment. If you know me, you know that I dress up to go anywhere if I feel like it. So I would happily wear these wherever I could wear them. One thing I do want to mention though, I love the overall design of these shoes, but it does kind of bother me, as I mentioned before, that the fuck is written in gold embroidery. I wish it was white or silver or just something besides gold, because I don't have very many gold accessories, or I don't even have very much gold clothing. So it's going to be hard to kind of match that, but I think thankfully I'll be able to just wear whatever and people won't pay attention to the color of the words as much. But overall, I'm really excited about these heels and I think they're super cool. These next pair of high heels are actually from Lamoda, and if you know anything about Lamoda from Instagram, because I know they're pretty popular there, they specialize in a lot of different crazy platforms and everything, so these are some platform heels. And they look like this. As you can see, they are all riveted and spiked out, and they are definitely from an alternative footwear brand, which Lamoda is. But one of the things I really love about these heels is how chunky the heel is. So if you're new to wearing high heels, the chunkier the heel in the back, the easier it's going to be for you to wear. That's why stilettos are so hard for people to walk in, because the thinner the heel, the less surface area for you to balance on. But the more surface area like this, the easier. So these are actually really easy for me to walk in, and they have a really high platform in the front too. If you're new to wearing high heels, as I mentioned, these would be a very good option for you, and they still look super alternative looking with all the spikes and rivets and everything. So I would definitely recommend these shoes if you're new to wearing this kind of footwear. Okay, so for my last pair of high heels, I actually saved my current favorite pair of high heels for last. They are from Killstar. So it is these beautiful, super high, kind of PVC shiny polyurethane material ankle boots, and they have an open toe as well, and then an open heel in the back, and the zipper has a really cute silver pentagram feature. And they do lace up and you can tighten the laces. They are very tall. So this heel in the back is 6.5 inches. But kind of similar to the shoes I just previously showed you from Lamoda, the platform in the front of these shoes is close to 3 inches. So it means that your foot, again, is only going to be inclined about 4 to 3 inches, which isn't too bad at all in terms of pain and, you know, walkability. So despite these shoes being so high, I do find it really easy to walk in them, and I do find them overall pretty comfortable. But I adore these shoes. I can't talk about them enough. I want to wear them everywhere, even though I know it's not practical or even good for the material. But I just think they're so beautiful. Even they have tread on the bottom. They're just so good and so me, and I love these shoes. Alright, so the last category of shoes I'm going to be showing y'all today are my platforms. And if you know anything about me, you know that I am utterly obsessed with platforms. I wish I owned more, and my go-to shoe whenever I'm dressing alternative is some type of platform. My platforms that I currently own range a lot in terms of their height, so I have some that are only about 1.5 to 2 inches, and then I have some that are 5 to 6 inches. So I'm pretty seasoned in terms of walking and wearing in platforms. If you've never worn platforms, I definitely recommend starting small for obvious reasons, and get used to walking in smaller ones before sizing up. So the first pair of platforms that I'm showing y'all are actually Doc Marten dupes that I got from Shein, like over a year ago. And they look like this. They're this fake leather again, and then everything about them is black, including the laces on the inside. The only thing white is the stitching on the side. And despite them being dupes and being from Shein, you know, which sometimes can be shoddy, the sole is really, really like solid, and it doesn't seem like, you know, it's made of a bad material. It seems to withstand weather and water and, you know, different terrain really well. When I first got these, they were incredibly skinny, as in, like, if you have wide feet, I honestly don't know if you could fit into these shoes even if you got your size, because it seems like the way they made them was just so skinny. And I don't know if Doc Martens are typically like that. I don't think they are. I think that was just something, you know, having to do with Shein's manufacturer. But that's something to keep in mind if you do decide you want these shoes. But other than that, once I finally broke them in and, you know, they widened to fit my foot a little bit better, even though I don't have wide feet, they were really enjoyable to walk in. And if I'm ever going out in the rain, these are like my go-to shoes, just because, you know, I know they can withstand it. The platform in the back is right under 2 inches tall, so these are super easy to walk in. You know, if you've never worn platforms, these would be a breeze for you to walk in. It would probably just feel like a very normal shoe. So my next pair of little baby platforms are actually from AliExpress, and it is these kind of creeper dupe looking shoes. It is made of this very faux feeling suede material that's actually kind of scratchy, but thankfully it doesn't scratch your skin or anything. Surprisingly, even though these are from AliExpress, they're overall pretty good quality. The platform is incredibly light, which definitely tells you that it's a dupe, because I'm sure if I got real brand name creepers, it would be a much heavier rubber sole. This sole is not rubber, it's made of plastic, as you can kind of hear from me knocking on it. But one of the complaints a lot of people had about these shoes in the reviews on AliExpress is that the platform on the bottom was too solid, and so it would end up hurting their foot when they would walk around. However, I wore these around when I was in college, you know, to and from classes, sometimes 7-hour days, walking all across campus, and I didn't experience any pain. Now, if you're working all day and standing up all day, you for sure would be in pain. But if you have part of the day where you're sitting down, I feel like wearing these would be fine. I didn't experience the pain that a lot of other people expressed. One thing I did experience, though, that no one else mentioned that was annoying, is that these shoelaces have a lot of trouble tightening the shoe. Like, they stay tied once you tie them, but if you put the shoe on and you find it's kind of loose and you want to tighten it with the shoelaces, you really can't. Like, no matter how tight you try to tie them, they just don't seem to tighten the shoe at all. But thankfully, overall, the shoe still fits me pretty well. So this next pair of platforms, I actually wish I didn't own. I wish I never bought them. They're probably my biggest regret shoe buy I've ever done. I got them from eBay, and I was on the lookout for buying, you know, platform boots that were like under the knee length or over the knee length, because, you know, I feel like that's the stereotypical alt and goth look, is having knee-high platform boots, and I've wanted some for so long. And so I was trying to find some, you know, on a cheaper venue from an Asian retailer, being that I had pretty good luck buying from Asian retailers before, buying from Shein and buying from AliExpress. So I went to eBay, and I found these shoes here, which are not quite knee length, they're like mid-calf length. And on the listing, it mentioned that they were 16 centimeters tall in the platform. And for those of you who don't know, conversion, 16 centimeters is about 5 inches. And so I was like, awesome. Even in the photo, it showed like a very high platform boot. And I'm like, I like the way that looks. And so I paid for it, and they shipped. And as you can see, this is nowhere near 16 centimeters. I even took photos with the platform next to a ruler whenever I contacted the seller, and was like, this is literally not the shoe that you have in the display picture. So that really sucked. And I did not get a full refund. I got a partial refund of $13, and they let me keep the shoes. And I didn't send them back because the cost it would have cost me to ship them back to China probably would have ended up equaling close to $45 anyway, and I didn't feel like dealing with all of that, so I just took the refund I could get and dealt with it. But not only that, but the platform in the back, as you can kind of see by what I'm doing here, is not sturdy or well glued on at all. And I really think the next time I wear these shoes, whenever it is, I'll have to bring a backup pair because the platform will probably completely fall off on one of them. So these are definitely not good quality shoes. I don't recommend anyone to buy them. If you ask me for the link, I will literally not give it to you because they're just not worth it, and I don't want anyone I care about buying these again. So my next pair of platforms is yet another from Shein. I actually buy from Shein quite often. It is these here. I'm not sure if these are Lamoda dupes because I've noticed now that I'm familiar with Lamoda, looking on the Shein website, that a lot of the shoes Shein sells kind of look like Lamoda style, but I'm not totally sure because I never saw these on the website when I looked. They have these 3 belt-like details. These 2 on the front can kind of tighten the shoe close to your foot, and then this one in the back goes around your ankle. The height of the heel of these on the back is about 3.5 inches, but on the front you have close to a 2-inch platform. So these are incredibly easy to walk in. It means that your heel is only inclined at maybe about an inch. And so you can wear these for a long time and not be in pain. I've worn these, you know, for an entire 12-hour day and my foot has barely hurt, which is one of the reasons I like this style so much, is because it gives you that height without any pain, really. But I really like these shoes. These are almost like a go-to shoe for me, especially if I want to wear something to where I can show off a certain pair of socks I'm wearing. These shoes let me do that, so I really love these. So this next pair of platforms is, guess what? Again from Shein. And it is this pair of just kind of combat boot looking shoes with a zipper detail on this side, and it also laces up in the front. The laces are genuine laces. You can make the shoe tighter that way. I actually bought these to replace the pair of other Shein shoes I bought that had an O-ring on the side, because those ended up breaking after about a year of very extensive wear. I mean, I was wearing those shoes every day. And these look kind of similar, so I bought them as a replacement. But I really like these as like a go-to shoe when I know I'm going to be out and about for a long time, but I want to wear something that still looks alternative, because I feel like these still overall pass as alternative shoes. And honestly, these are probably my most go-to shoe. Like, they're probably my most worn shoe currently, so I definitely love these shoes a lot. So my next pair of platforms are actually another pair of Lamodas, and they are these very cute, almost kind of like sandal-like shoes, but with a very thick, very heavy platform. And it does up right here with an ankle strap, and it has actually, I think, a nice detail, this white lacing, not lacing, this white threading at the bottom. And as you can see, the tread on these is no fucking joke. That's one of the other things I really love about Lamoda so much, is they take tread and grip seriously on all of their shoes. But unlike the Shein shoes I just showed you, this is a 3-inch platform shoe all across. So these are actually totally flat. Like, there's no heel on these at all. These are totally flat. They're very 80s looking in that way, which is another reason I like them. But one thing I would recommend about these is, like, if you're ever going somewhere where there's a lot of incline or stairs or anything, you don't want to be wearing these, because it's just going to be hard, because these aren't very stable in terms of like staying in one position of your foot, because, you know, it's kind of like any sandal you have this style, it's going to kind of flop up whenever you walk, so just keep that in mind. But they are overall very comfortable, and I just think they're super cute, and I love the way they look. So the next pair of platforms I actually haven't had the opportunity to wear outside yet, but I am very excited to do it whenever I can. It is another pair from YRU, and these, as you can see, are very tall platform sneakers. These are also totally flat, just like the previous ones. The platform height of these is 4.5 inches, so they overall are pretty tall, but, you know, not obnoxiously tall. One of the things I do like about these is how it's styled as like a high top sneaker. I think that's interesting and different, and it's also kind of puffy. I feel like they almost, in a way, look kind of like old school Osiris's, except the front is like not quite as bulky. And I think that's just really cool, because I feel like Osiris shoes were like the precursor for a lot of people to alternative footwear that we have today. And so I feel like it's cool that YRU kind of incorporates that into their design. And of course the Y detail for their brand is always really nice. I've been wanting these exact shoes from YRU for so long, and they had a sale. And so these are regular price $100, but because of that 50% sale that I mentioned earlier, I was able to get them for only $50. Which, to me, I think it's a steal to get these kinds of shoes name brand for only $50. I know it's still quite a lot of money for a lot of people. It's a lot of money for even me, but it was a splurge for me, and it was totally worth it in my opinion, because I'm so excited to wear these. Alright, and we have come to the final pair of shoes altogether, my final pair of platforms. I wouldn't say I necessarily saved the best for last, but I did definitely save, I think, the most memorable for last. And they are these platform, I guess you would kind of call these ankle booties, One has this moon cutout, and then the other, as you can see, has a star cutout. And these are by NYLA, if I'm not mistaken. And these laces here are functional. You can actually tighten the shoe with them. And then, of course, you also do have the zipper on the side. One thing that does slightly bother me about these shoes, and I know this is just the perfectionist in me, some of you may cringe at me mentioning this, but if you look very carefully at the moon cutout, there's actually like a lump here to where it's not super evenly cut out. And like, I noticed that as soon as I unpackaged them, and it's bothered me ever since. I've been tempted to almost try to like cut it myself to make it look more even, but I know I would do a bad job, so I'm not gonna actually attempt that. It's just like a manufacturer defect, I'm sure, but it just sucks that it does have that kind of bump there because it makes the moon look, you know, not as perfect, and I wish it did look more perfect. But thankfully the star does not have such an issue. There is no defect on the star that I've noticed. The star is great. I really love these shoes a lot. I think they're super cute, and they actually are very easy to walk in, and I would recommend them to anyone who wants to buy them. At the time, I bought these from Dollskill before I realized how fucked up of a company they are.
Do not buy from Dollskill ever.
If you want to know why, I'd be happy to send you multiple links as to why they're the most shitty company in the fucking world. It sucks that they sell such good alternative merch, but
do not buy from Dollskill.
But you can find NYLA, this brand, on many other websites. I know Hot Topic was actually selling these exact shoes as well on there at one point. And I'm sure if you look on Amazon, you may be able to find them as well. Well, darklings, that is it. That is all 27 pairs of shoes that I currently own. As I mentioned, to me it doesn't really feel like a lot, especially because I don't wear some of the shoes, you know, super often. I'm always on the lookout for more shoes, believe it or not, even though, you know, I may not necessarily need them. I really love shoes, and, you know, I hope to own more as time goes on, especially more platform shoes. I will fucking own a pair of knee-high platform boots at some point. And if you happen to have any shoe recommendations, shoes you think I may be interested in based on what you've seen of my shoe taste from this video, I'm always welcome. My DMs are always open for you to send me links to shoes you think I might like. I really appreciate that, actually, because it means you thought of me. But anyway, thank you so very much for watching this video. If you made it all the way to the end, I appreciate you so very much. If you have any questions about any of the shoes that I showed y'all in this video today that I didn't answer here, feel free to just ask in the comments below, or you can message me if you know me personally, and I'll try my best to answer. I'm more than happy to provide a link to any of the shoes if I can. But I really hope that all of y'all have a great night. I hope that we can all get through this quarantine period, you know, relatively quickly and in the best ways that we can. And hopefully by the time at least June rolls around, it'll all be over. But I hope that this video is maybe a good kind of solace and distraction for all of you who may have watched it. But I love you so very much, and I hope that you have a wonderful night. See ya!
Why are you still here?
So a little extra information in case you're curious while you're here. A very common question I got with my last video is like, how am I filming? And like, how do I have anything set up? Well, first off, I'm just using my phone because that's all I have. Like, well, I have my laptop, but the quality on it is so bad, like the camera is so bad that I wouldn't want to ever use that to film a real video. So I'm just using my phone, which is a Samsung Galaxy S7, very old phone now. And then the setup that I have my phone on is this. So yeah, as you can see, I literally just have a stool in front of my bed, and then on the seat of the stool I stack up a bunch of books, and then a thing that holds some of my pencils and pens, and then I have my speaker here, and then I like rest my phone right there, and then I have this here to counterbalance the fact that my phone case makes my phone sit unevenly on this big old tower. But as you can imagine, it's very not sturdy and steady, and I have knocked it down several times while filming. Not today, I only did it once today, but I have done it several times before. But that's to answer your question of how the fuck I film.